A real American story, literally a real American story, happened this past weekend with Jane's Addiction, who are back on tour after a very long hiatus, a very long, I'll say, suffering band. Their biggest part of popularity was in the 90s, but I'm sure that they have been around since the 80s, maybe a bit longer. There was a fight on stage. Perry Farrell, the lead singer for the band, literally punched his guitarist, Dave Navarro, in the face in the middle of the show. Now, this happened on the 13th. This was in Boston, and it was abrupt into the actual concert. What actually happened? Apparently, there were some sound issues that night. Well, apparently, Jane's Addiction has had issues with themselves since the 90s, which is why they rarely toured, and now it's back for nostalgia. And that night in particular, there were some sound issues, and Farrell couldn't hear himself, couldn't hear anything. He was screaming just to be heard over anything because all the music was so loud. And in just sort of a screaming shout at more or less the audience inside of the song Ocean Size, he walked back towards Navarro, who's playing guitar, and just decked him. Which Navarro just looked at like, what the hell, dude? What's going on? And then people came on stage, and it was a scuffle, it was a thing. Perry was pulled off stage, and the concert was abruptly ended because when the lead singer punches your lead guitarist, you kind of end the show. They had a show last night, so 2 days later they were fine, more or less. They were fine at least musically, sound-wise, so to get through things because they got bills to pay. And they can't just be canceling concerts because somebody gets nuts and goes throwing things. Perry is essentially going through some issues, apparently. Farrell's having some issues and just stressed out with the tour and just all the things that are happening and just some internal combustion inside with the group, which is why, as I said earlier, they don't actually tour very often. And when they do, it's a big deal. And when they fight on stage, it's a bigger deal. Somewhere, the Gallagher brothers are sitting there maniacally rubbing their beards and going, because those concerts don't happen till July, and I'm still betting they may not happen. I put my money on them not happening. Then happening, we will see.